Hi, everybody. Jack O'Malley on this Friday evening. What a glorious day it has been. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough 24 hours or so, too. I have really thought hard on how to approach tonight's update. And let me start because unfortunately, in this climate that we're in politically right now, you can say all the right things, but if you leave out a word or you leave out just something, people seize on it and they attack you for not talking about that. So I'm going to do my best to encompass it all as I see it, my thoughts, but I might not hit on every topic. I might not hit on every issue. So I ask your indulgence so that if you feel inclined to comment, which is your right, don't do the, yeah, but what about this, Jack? Okay? This is a very focused thought to try and get the general gist of where I think we're at today. So I'll do my best. So overall, I need to say, so that it's clear and it's there, I've spoken in the press now a couple of times, the acts that were stopped were terrible. If these men are found guilty, which I got a feeling they probably will be, but everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, everybody is. If they are found guilty, which again, I believe they will be, this is terrible. Even the thought of this is terrible. And I'm speaking, of course, of overthrowing the government and kidnapping the governor. Now, I disagree with the governor on a lot of things. We've gone over that over the last 6-7 months. I agree with her on some, disagree with her on some, but I would never stand for this. I would never stand for it for the law enforcement folks they thought they were going after, any politicians they thought they were going after. Wrong. We have to do this all the way this country was founded, through the democratic system of our laws and our legislatures and the courts, which is where we're at. So what was planned and broken up, it was despicable, and I commend our law enforcement. So just kind of where I've been thinking here, and so you understand my thought process and why I'm saying this. Yesterday, I gave 2 interviews, and they wanted my comment, my reaction. And I said, I thought it was terrible. I thought they were idiots. I thought that it's, not good. And the one reporter, and I had just found out about it. I'm out doing my thing, and I'm not reading the paper while I'm driving. I don't have it all. So I get this call and says, hey, did you hear that this plot? And I'm like, no, I didn't, but thanks, So then the question was, well, it could be a white supremacist group or a militia group. What do you think? And I said, I can't speculate. I don't know. And what we know in the early stages of any event might not be what ends up happening. So I can't comment on who I think these people are because I don't know, right? I just heard about it. And then the next question floored me, and it actually kind of pissed me off. I was asked, do you condemn white supremacists? And I said, why are you asking me that question? Why is that the next question you ask? Of course I would condemn white supremacists. And of course I would condemn racism. I have. Why? What have I done in my 61 years that you might even think I could ask? You should ask me this question. And she gave me kind of a stumbled answer. And I said, would you have asked me this question if I was a Democrat? And she said, well, of course. I'll take her at her word, but I don't necessarily believe that's the case. So I was stunned by that. And I was mad to even suggest this. So then I'm doing a TV interview, and I get asked to speculate. So it was, do you think President Trump's comments of recent inspired this group? And I said, you're asking me to speculate. I can't speculate. I don't know what fired these people up. Why wasn't I asked, could the governor's hard line to COVID business closures have fired these people up? That would have been speculation too, right? So we've got this situation out there that, and yesterday I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why am I gave you my comments. So I move forward. So we do have to look at what happens. And I'll be honest with you. I sympathize. My heart goes out to the governor and her family. What a scary thing to have that happen. I will tell you, though, I didn't talk about it, but a couple of weeks ago, we got a voicemail from a guy from district who was calling me everything but a nice name and was rather threatening. And one of my office staff heard it and said, and he was, when you come back to district, I'm gonna. So one of my staffers said, should we call the cops on this guy? And I listened to it and I thought, no, he's just a first-class a-hole and I'm not too worried about it. But unfortunately, over my term here, we've also gotten envelopes and things in the offices like, who wants to open this one up? Unfortunately, that's what you have to deal with when you're in the public eye. So I understand to a little bit what happened to our governor yesterday, and it's not fun. But yet, where are we at? What fueled this? What I think is interesting is immediately these knuckleheads, these terrorists, domestic terrorists, alleged domestic terrorists, are thrown into the, well, Trump fired them up. Couldn't it have been the hard line our governor has taken to everybody's civil liberties? Remember, I've talked about balance, right? So this week, we had the Supreme Court say the governor has been acting unconstitutionally. Then this week, we have a group of homegrown terrorists who think that they are there to defend the Constitution. You see where I might be able to speculate what's going on there? I guess my point is, this, one of the things that this reminds me of is back in the 90s, some of you might remember this. It was Bill Clinton and the ATF were cracking down on firearms. And there was the Ruby Ridge case and others. And there was a lot of tension from those folks that are very defensive and protective of the Constitution and interpret things their way and see the government as interceding and stepping on people. Remember that? It was in the 90s. And it was a very similar kind of thing. Now, here we are again with this group that calls themselves the Wolverine Watchmen or whatever they are. So I guess as we move forward here, I think our president says some things I wish he wouldn't say. I support him, and I will vote for him because I'm not a real fan of the other guy. But I also think our governor needs to be careful what she says. And yesterday's statement, I can understand her being upset, but the thing she said, she did not even one iota consider the fact that maybe her actions have fired up a fringe group. And now you say, Jack, that's not fair. What about this, that, and the other thing? Let's think about this. Again, I'm trying to bring this all together, and it's so convoluted, but yet we're in this time. There are a group of people who are legally protesting racial issues. I support their right to protest 1,000%, and I will defend their right to peacefully protest. But then we've got rioters who have taken over American cities and burned government buildings and shot police officers. And they, in my opinion, are fueled by activists whose real intention, I don't believe, is racial equality. It's overthrow of our government. There was a group that wanted to overthrow the government of Michigan, and we've got other groups that want to overthrow the government for their purposes. How are they really different? But yet this group, rightfully so, is chastised, arrested, and considered domestic terrorists. Why aren't the people that are fueling these riots, not peaceful protest, the riots, and I can tell they're not the same groups. I've watched all of this where the protesters are headed home about 7:30 because the streetlights are coming on, but the rioters move in. Those folks are not held to the same standard as I see it. Now, someone here is going to call me a racist. I'm not. I am not. But what I am is observing where we're at in this country. Both the Wolverine Watchmen and these groups that are fueling rioting and civil unrest, all in the name of one thing, but really because they are anti-American. We've got two groups very similar. Different goals, different reasons, but they're there trying to do the same damn thing. Why can't we co-equally discuss these things? It's very difficult. It's so emotional. So we're going to be in session next week. The Senate was working on some things here yesterday, and we'll be in session next week as we move forward to bring our co-equal branches of government and hopefully rein in our governor because she was acting unconstitutionally. You might like what she did, but the courts have said it was unconstitutional. And for those of you, this is the truth. She were on the other foot. That was a Republican governor doing something, and the opposition was against that Republican governor, and the Supreme Court were to say that Republican governor had acted unconstitutionally. The other side would be going, see, we told you. So let's just be honest with each other, all right? The Supreme Court has ruled that the governor was acting unconstitutionally. Maybe her heart was in the right place, but we are a nation of the rule of law, so we have to follow the law. So we're in a very weird time. We're a few weeks away from an election. Everybody needs, including our leaders, both the president and our governor, need to say, hey, and I should say our Democratic presidential candidate, the three of them, everybody needs to stop. I know it won't happen. Trust me, I know. But we need to stop. You and I need to say, wait a minute here. Let us realize what is reality out there and what isn't. And what is political, I don't even want to use the word theater because theater means entertainment. What is political bull? And when somebody's grandstanding and thumping their chest. And when they're not. So yesterday's events with the governor saddened me. I don't wish that on the governor. I don't. I think of her family, her husband and her kids. They don't need that. I don't want that. I don't want some crazy SOB from the 101st calling my office, leaving me a 8-minute voicemail, calling me everything and not, well, maybe threatening me. I don't want that. I don't want that anywhere. So we are in charged times. Stop. Everybody needs to stop the rhetoric. I'll tell you one more thing, and I know I'm getting long here. I got a couple of texts yesterday from friends who were joking. I know they were joking, but they made a couple of comments about the governor and this. And I texted them back and I said, no, not funny. Not funny. I know you meant it to be funny, but I can't go there because it's not funny. And sometimes we have to just draw that line. And sometimes we have to watch the words we use. If you notice, I never use the word tyrant or tyranny in any of these discussions. Why? Because I knew that there are people out there who really felt that that's what's going on. But I never used it because I sure as hell didn't want to fire anybody up. I wanted to have honest, straightforward discussion and give you my thoughts. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got to start over. We really do. We've got this COVID problem that's going to be around for a while. Whether you think we got to start over, it's here and we got to deal with it. And we're going to have to manage it through. All right? And I hope the governor changes her tune on so many things and starts to realize what she did was unconstitutional and now needs to work with the legislature. And I promise I will work hard for the people and I will work hard with the governor to make sure that we get this through. But I don't know if that was a mixed bunch of stuff, and I'm sure there will be people who just think I'm an idiot and that I'm this or I'm a that. I'm just a guy who's representing the 101st, trying to do the best I can. I'm not a career politician. I don't even, I just want to do the best I can. So let's keep praying. Thank God that our law enforcement were there to protect our governor, because if they hadn't, if those knuckleheads, and I'm trying to use words I can use, had assaulted the Capitol and I was there, I'd have done everything I could to stop them, because that's my Capitol. And these people who thought they could overthrow our governor and our government, screw you. I will defend our government. I will defend our way of life. I will defend how we do things. And that includes a fight with our governor if it needs to be, and to go through the courts and to win. So this is a long one. I'm done. It's a Friday night. Have a good weekend, everybody. We're back in session next week, so we'll see how all things go, and I'll keep you informed. Pray for me. Pray for our governor. Pray for our law enforcement. Thank goodness they weren't defunded. Have a good night, everybody. Ooh, that was bad. That was bad, Jack. I know.